ashes, the spirits light up the night, looking down.
Now, from the Untold Radio Network, it's Untold Radio AM with Doug and Alex Hajicek.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
Untold Radio. How are you, Alex?
Living the dream.
Living the dream. I bet you are living the dream.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hopefully tonight we have a good show for everybody. It's completely packed from one end to the other. And we have some more car podcasting going on tonight. It's my favorite.
Love it.
Who started that? Oh, the first guy that did that on our show was Jesus Pion from Breaking Bad was on.
Yeah.
And not only was he car podcasting, but he drove off during the podcast while he was on the air. Remember that?
Yes.
Oh, God, that was awesome. Anyhow, we got to get him back on. Talk about Bigfoot again. Yeah?
Yeah.
Anyhow, so tonight we've got, let's see here. We have Jeff Perrella. He's a research tech for LMS with some fresh perspectives. We have Brendan Berthold, who's a cabin owner deep in the Northwoods of Minnesota. He is really well-versed in Bigfoot history and Bigfoot, the whole Bigfoot mystery. And he'll be with us tonight. We have Adam Colt. We're going to actually live plan some strategy for Snellgrove, and everybody's included. And I believe your very own sister, my youngest daughter, is going to join us tonight for trivia.
She is.
Against you.
It's going to be quite the battle.
The battle.
May the best.
And then on Tech Breakdown, we're going to talk about vibrational alarms.
Yeah.
Not vibrators, vibrational alarms.
Vibrational.
Yes. And we're going to talk about how a vibrational alarm can benefit you while you're camping. If you're a cabin owner, could be anything. All right.
Perfect.
That's it. Anyhow, so tonight, I was going to, you know what? I've got the wrong email opened up, which is always fun. I opened up your email.
Uh-oh.
So do you know what that means? That means
What does that mean?
I need to switch.
Oh, yeah.
I need to switch. And I'm like, how can I switch? I'm going to figure this out. Just bear with me here.
Hope you guys are excited for tonight's trivia challenge.
Yeah, give me 1 second, Alex.
Yeah, no problem. I hope you guys have your questions. We're going to be talking about Bigfoot and Snellgrove. The movie The Rock used vibration alarms. Did they? Gosh, it's been forever since I've seen that movie.
I'm back.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. So, okay. So we're gonna start out, and this really caught my eye because it shows big mammals that are hanging out together. And as you maybe know, maybe you don't even know, but me and Dr. Lynn Rogers were the first to discover in history mammals, the first mammals cohabitating together, actually living together, not just hanging out, but sleeping together. And that was beavers and muskrats. I think we did that back in 2002, 3. I don't know what it was. It's way back. Anyhow, and so that was really cool to see two different mammals hanging out. But go up, throw photo 1 up. This is really unique because it's probably the first time a grizzly bear and a wolf, a timber wolf, are actually hanging out. And it wasn't just this once. They were filmed numerous times. So there's another photo I sent you. And this kind of proves that these things are actually interacting. Now, are they sleeping together? I would imagine. But what would be cohabitating is if the bear denned up, like, for the winter, and then the wolf joined it. That would be more of like living in a house together. So anyhow, this was from Finnish photographer Lassi Routinen. He documented this unusual friendship between a female gray wolf and a male brown bear. He spotted these guys every night for 10 straight days. And apparently they spent several hours together, so they were buds. But I've never, big mammals like this, it should be enemies. It's kind of interesting. What do you think?
I think it's incredible to document this.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it.
Yep. Oh, it was in 2003 when we documented beavers and muskrats. So not only working together, living together in a lodge, in a beaver lodge. So that was the world's first time mammals had been seen cohabitating.
That's so cool to see. Gives us some hope for humanity.
Yeah, and it took us, by the way, it took us 3 years to do that. To get a camera hidden inside a wild beaver lodge. So 3 years. 3-foot walls in that beaver lodge. We had to chisel away. But you had to do it in little spurts because you didn't want to scare the beavers and the muskrats. Well, we didn't know there were muskrats in there. We didn't want to scare the beavers away.
Right, you don't want to scare
how long can you handle someone pounding on your roof, right?
3 years.
3 years of an hour at a time. Yeah, anyhow, it was a big job. And it's kind of like, well, now I know why nobody else has ever done that. All right, and then they found some fossils, and it suggests that even smaller hobbits inhabited Indonesia 700,000 years ago. Now it's an arm bone. Look how little that arm bone is.
Tiny.
Yeah. So it says here 20 years ago on the Indonesian islands, scientists discovered fossils of the early human species that stood 3.5 feet tall. That's earning the name the hobbits, right?
Right.
And now the new studies suggest the ancestors of the hobbits were even smaller and shorter.
So they did exist.
Yeah, Well, I always say if there were smaller humans around at one time, their chances are there were way bigger humans too.
Right,
It's the same process. Same process of diversion. And apparently the original hobbit fossils date back between only 60,000 and 100 years ago. And these new fossils were excavated at the Mata Menge, about 45 miles from the same cave where the other hobbits were uncovered. So apparently these hobbits predated the other bigger hobbits. These guys were from 700,000 years ago.
Whoa.
And they were averaged 3 inches smaller than the other hobbits, which, as I mentioned, they were 3.5 foot. Those are little people. Be so weird, wouldn't it? To have a whole, you know what I mean? Once in a while we have people born who are diminutive. But could you imagine a whole, group?
Right. For it just to be the
50,000
norm.
little tiny people. That would be weird walking in on that. That'd be your fantasy.
Oh, depends on how you use the word
I'll
fantasy.
crush you guys. Okay. Anyhow, enough of that crap.
Jeff thinks it's funny.
Anyhow, well, this is a story that we will look at more. Okay.
Right.
Someday they're going to find Bigfoot bones if they haven't already. Okay. Then there's been a breakthrough that has brought scientists closer. I don't think they've done it yet, but creating the heaviest element yet. So they're doing modern day alchemy to try to develop a heavier element. And I think they're going to call it element 120. I think they're up to 118 now. And that's based on the amount of electrons, Alex.
The electrons.
The electrons, yes. So apparently back in 2000, the heaviest element they have created is called Oganesian, atomic number 118. And this new one, the newer one, is livermorium. Livermorium. It has only 116 protons. And the newest one that it's kind of theoretical at this point, that they're just starting to make, is called unbelinium. Unbelinium. I didn't butcher that too bad, I don't think.
No.
It's got 120 protons. Well, there you go. So, I didn't tell you how they're doing it. They're taking titanium, right? And they're heating it to 3,000 degrees. All right.
3,000.
And they're collecting the fumes, and then they're fusing it to plutonium.
So they're fusing
That makes
it
sense.
to the. It sounds very technical.
Yes. They fuse isotopes of titanium. Oh, and they're using californium to make element 120, which is it's basically plutonium, as far as I know.
As far as you know, yeah.
I mean, these articles are technical, right?
Yeah.
But I want to know what are they going to do with it when they discover these.
That's the real question.
What are they going to do with it? That's what I want to know. I don't know.
I want to know too.
Yeah. Anyhow, that's all I found interesting in the news. I think new elements are a big deal.
Yeah.
You can do a lot, but it'll be a while until they get any of it done. I'm thinking about how slow it would be to try to get a handful of this new element when you're doing it by fumes. It would take quite a while. All right. So we have, let's do something completely new. We're going to have your younger sister join us, and we're going to do brother and sister trivia. And she is all the way in Costa Rica, as you can see. I think her mic might be up. Hi, Asia.
Wow, look at that weather.
This is my youngest daughter introducing Asia. Hajicek.
Or AJ.
AJ, yeah. I call her AJ. Anyhow. But we're gonna pitch you two against each other.
Okay, let's go. I'm gonna win.
Right. You're gonna win. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, hold on. Can I play the bumper? We gotta.
Oh, Alex likes his bumpers. Go ahead and play the bumper.
It's time for brother and sister trivia. Let's welcome Asia and Alex. Good luck. You will need it.
All right.
That was wonderful.
So I've got just you two up there, and the topic is going to be platypus. The platypus. And Alex, you probably knew what we were going to do it on, didn't you?
I had a clue.
You had a clue? Did you do any research on it?
Of course not.
Good. You better not. Swear to God.
Swear to God.
All right. Okay. So you're looking at a picture, but what color are most platypuses? Are they dark brown or light tan?
Dark
Light
brown.
tan.
You're saying light tan? Oh, by the way, I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep score on this too. I'm keeping score. Okay, you're saying light brown, dark brown. They're dark brown. So
Yeah.
Alex, you got one. Okay.
Okay.
Are these things native to Eastern Australia or Western Australia? The east part of Australia, the western part.
Western.
Well, then you got to pick the opposite, Asia.
I said Eastern.
Oh, Alex says Western. Asia, you are right.
No.
No. All right. Does the platypus inhabit large streams, or do they inhabit small streams?
Large.
Are you both saying large?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're tied. You're both wrong, though. They inhabit small streams. Yep. I'm going to follow along in chat, too, now. Okay. I'm tuned in here. All right. Do they live mostly on land or in the water? Mostly on land or in the water?
They're mostly in the water. 100%.
Asia? Mostly in the...
100% confident.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I'll just choose land.
Well, you don't have to choose the opposite. Just choose whatever you
It's
think.
all about like this animal.
Yes.
This is what you could come up
This
with.
is an important
Really
animal.
I'll
interesting.
say water then. Water makes
Okay,
sense.
well, you're both right.
By the way, guess what you're getting for Christmas?
What?
Platypus.
I'm so excited. Okay.
Okay. Who hunts these things the most? Who are their predators? Who does the platypus fear the most? Is it hawks, owls, and eagles, or lizards and crocodiles? Who eats
Hawks.
platypuses or hunts them down? Owls, hawks, and eagles, or lizards and crocodiles?
The
I picked the
eagles.
first one.
Okay, Asia picked hawk, owls, and eagles, and Alex,
Eagles.
you're going with the birds?
Yep.
It
Okay,
looks like a little Bruno.
you're both right. So, okay. So everything's tied. To
Okay.
this moment, we're tied. Okay.
Hence.
Yep. So they are, excuse me, are they, they're nocturnal. And does nocturnal mean they're active at night? Or does nocturnal mean they're active dawn and twilight?
They're active dawn and twilight.
I'll say nighttime.
You just pulled ahead. You got it right. Alex,
Ooh.
you're wrong. So during twilight and in the morning, that would be crepuscular, they call that, not nocturnal. Nocturnal is only at night. Okay. That would be crepuscular. All right. Next would be their lifespan. Does the platypus live 8 years in captivity or 17 years in captivity?
17.
17.
17, you're both right. Good. Are these weird creatures that have, obviously they have a duck bill. You can see they're a mammal. They have fur, not feathers. They have duck feet. We're going to get more into how weird they are. But are they a legally protected species, or is there limited hunting on these things?
The second one.
They're protected.
They're protected. Protected?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you both, okay, you're neutralized. Yes, they are legally protective. All right. And it says they are classified as near threatened by the UCN, which has recommended that it be upgraded to a threatened species due to habitat destruction. Apparently, they're declining all over Australia. Okay. Did people, when they were first discovered, did they not believe it was real? True or false? Did they
True.
not believe it was real?
True.
Alex?
True.
True. Yep, you're both right. Yeah, people didn't believe it. Apparently, the appearance of this thing was so odd to the Europeans and the naturalists in Europe. They studied a preserved one that was like in a jar, and they thought it was fake. They thought that somebody had made it up out of different animals and stuck them together. All right. So is this animal in the animal group called monotremes or extremophenes? Is that what's the animal group? Monotremes or extremophenes?
Extremophenes.
Okay, Alex picks extremophenes, and you're going to pick monotremes or extremophene, AJ?
I'll do mono.
Mono? AJ just pulled ahead, Alex.
Oh no, I'm getting destroyed.
She's actually
What's the
it's
prize?
3-1 now. Alex, that's all right. You got a little time here.
Is there a prize?
Maybe, yeah. I'll take whoever wins out to dinner for walleye tacos.
Ooh.
Okay. Is Jeff gonna come with us?
He might. We have everybody in the back room here. Okay. Is their tail, they have like a beaver-like tail. Is it for swimming or is it for fat storage? Swimming or fat storage? Their beaver-like tail.
Storage.
Fat storage.
Okay, you're both right. Fat storage. I would imagine they swim with it a little bit, but it's just pretty much it sits there and they use it for storing fat like a camel's hump. All right. Platypuses are venomous. Okay. They actually can
spicy.
really hurt you bad.
Spicy.
And they have an ankle spur that delivers a venom strong enough to kill a dog, right?
Oh wow.
But
For a small girl.
is this spur on both females and males or just on one or the other?
Just
Is
one
the
or the
spur
other.
on both sexes or just one or the other?
One or the other.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Either one. Is that what you both agree on? Either one?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Males and females? No, only the males have the poison.
Oh yeah.
Only the males are.
That's what I chose, right? Only one.
No, you didn't. You said
That's
both.
what I was thinking though. I think you said one or the other. So just like one of them.
Yeah. That, to be fair, I also meant that.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm not giving either of you a point. All right.
I was actually thinking that though.
No, I was too. I
No,
was
you
thinking
weren't.
what she was thinking.
Okay. So these creatures use electroreception to hunt or electrolysis to hunt. They use an electrical sense. Is it called electroreception or electrolysis to hunt?
Electrolysis.
What do they mean?
Well, electrolysis is when you have two different kinds of metal, as an example, or things that have different acidic values or alkalines, and then you put them in anything acidic, which could be water, anything, and it makes electricity. Is electrolysis.
What was the question?
Electroreception is it's going to pick up electrical signals like a radio. Uses electroreception. So what are they? Do they use electroreception or electrolysis to hunt? Come on, guys.
I said electrolysis.
Okay, Alex picked
I'll do
electrolysis.
the other one.
You're picking electroreception. AJ won. It is
I can't remember my taco.
Oh, I've been destroyed.
Woo.
okay. It is electroreception. Actually, there's only a few mammals that use electroreception. Meaning the ability to sense electricity created by movement of muscles. So they can sense the animals that they're hunting or the creatures they're hunting because they want to eat. They use electroreception.
I see.
Like sharks do that. All right. Maybe Bigfoots do that, which is interesting.
They might.
We talked about that. Yeah. Okay. So they use their very sensitive nose or their duck bill for hunting, right?
Right.
Or do they use sight and smell?
Wait, what was the other one?
Okay. I'll try to make this. Okay. Do they use feel is what I meant, with their nose. Feel, do they hunt by feel or do they hunt by sight and smell?
Feel.
Feel?
Yeah, with a nose like that, you gotta feel around.
Yeah.
Feel for both of you?
Yeah.
Okay. That's true. They do not use sight or smell for hunting. They use feel. And when they hunt, their nose, eyes, and ears are closed. They don't even use sound. And like that's which is really odd. They actually close their eyes, close their ears, and their nose is closed. They don't use any of it as it swims along the bottom of streams, hunting for things that maybe we'll talk about here. Okay, like humans have acid in their stomach to digest our food, right? Alex, after he eats a donut, gets hard. He has to take a Tums to quelch the acid down. So do they have, okay, so they have a lot of acid in their stomachs in platypuses. Is that true or false? That platypuses have a lot of stomach acid in their stomach.
They do. Piles of it.
Piles of it, okay.
No.
They do not, Asia?
Nope.
Okay. Asia's right again. They don't even have stomachs.
Oh my gosh, she's just ripping me
Platypus
apart.
don't have a stomach. They're like a
I know
fish.
too much.
Pretty much just a gullet. It goes right down into their intestines.
I knew
You'll be really good at raising that platypus when you get it.
that.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay. What does a platypus store in their cheek pouches? Okay. They stored let's see here. Their babies or food and gravel. What animals keep their babies safe in their cheek pouches? Do they store their babies or food and gravel?
Food and gravel.
Food and gravel? I couldn't hear you, Asia.
Babies.
Babies? Alex just got a point, man.
Wow.
It's okay, I'm
So
still ahead.
It's now 2-4. So
what are you gonna name your platypus? Platinum?
What is Phineas and Ferb? What is their pet called? What's its name? Ferb? No, Phineas and Ferb. It's the brother.
Furby?
Do you remember?
I don't remember. I don't even know what you're talking
He's like a
about.
spy. No.
okay, guys. Platypuses are bioluminescent, meaning they glow. Listen now. They glow under IR light. True or false?
Yeah, they
True.
glow. The ambush would get them.
Now listen to me. They glow under IR light. True or false?
True.
True?
True.
Yeah.
It's wrong. They glow under UV light.
Oh, you're not
I
helping us
tricked
with
you. I
nothing,
said
Adam.
IR, infrared light, they do not glow under. They glow under UV light, which is black light. They do glow though under
We need
UV.
the ambush UV.
So
forward.
I tricked you both. Right. Baby platypuses are called puggles or duckless.
Puggles or duckless?
Duckless. Little duckless.
Little
Well-
duck. Wow, yeah, the little duckless.
Duckless
What is the
or
first one?
puggles.
Puggles.
You pick puggles? You pick duckless?
They're little
Yeah.
pugs.
They are puggles.
Hey.
Or
Also,
pugglies.
I'm
something
gonna
like
name
that.
him Perry. Perry.
Got another one there, Asia.
Perry the platypus. You know what? You're just on fire. I think you're cheating.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Got the brains of the family.
Oh,
You don't have them.
can I borrow 'em?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I want to say hi to all sorts of people. Susan Lawrence, Mary Jo, Digger Dog, Buttworm. Hey, Buttworm. Hey, Buttworm. How you doing? This wouldn't be a show without Buttworm in the audience. We have Susan. Thank you, Susan, for showing up. Tennessee, Kentucky Bigfoots in the audience. Ristall. Come on, guys. All right. And of course, more. All right, next. We're almost done here. This is probably getting old for you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. They are a mammal, which means they make milk, right?
Yeah.
Do they
Right.
feed their young from their nipples? Does the milk emerge from their nipples? True or
Or-
false? Pardon?
Yeah, it just comes right out.
True.
True?
Yeah. Where does it come out?
I know. It comes out of their pores
Where's the pores?
all over their body, on their chest. Just
Well, a nipple
excrete.
is like a pore, though.
No, nipple is kind of one big pore. Yeah, no.
No, there's other pores around it.
So can
They
you
don't-
can you suck on them anywhere?
Apparently, Alex, you can just grab a platypus and suck on it and get
You
milk.
squeeze it, and it's just like,
You just squeeze
Females
it like a
have
sponge.
mammillary glands for milk production, but no teats. The milk emerges from pores in the skin of the stomach, which the puggles then lap up.
Just squeeze it like a sponge.
See, they have lapping puggles.
Okay.
Okay. There used to be platypuses. You got to pick from one of these. 6 foot, 4 foot, or 3 foot long.
6 foot.
6 foot, 4 foot, or 3 foot long, way back.
Way back, 6 feet. Huge,
6 feet.
giant.
6
Yeah,
foot.
everything was bigger then.
Yep. So pick one. 6 foot, 4 foot, or 3 foot.
6.
Asia?
Yeah.
6? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Both wrong. They were 3 foot long.
Ah, where is that big brain now?
They found a single prehistoric platypus tooth. It was found in 2013. And it showed researchers that there used to be platypuses that were over 3 foot long. So maybe you're not wrong. But the one they found was a 3 footer.
Well, you
Well,
can't.
3 foot.
You can't ride that.
So you could be right. You cannot go off one tooth.
Right.
All right. The DNA from reptiles, birds, and mammals and fish was found in a platypus. True or false? The DNA from reptiles, birds, and mammals and fish were found in platypuses.
Yes. The perfect hybrid.
Yes?
Well, no.
No, it's false. So, Asia, you're right. They did find DNA from reptiles, birds, and mammals, but not fish. They found,
Why
actually,
would you mix
okay,
fish?
sorry, they found reptile, birds, and mammal DNA in a platypus from reptiles, birds, and mammals. But I said fish, and so false is right, and so we are done. And the score was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 2. 6 to 2, Alex.
Ouch.
So everybody in the world knows you are not a platypus expert, but maybe you're an expert, and we'll have to do this again. So you can hang out, Asia, if you want. You can do whatever you want. Maybe you can. Oh, hold on. Asia's got a Bigfoot story that we can have her tell. She hates telling this story, but she's got a Bigfoot story that happened to both of us. And so when we do our roundtable, she can be part of that, and you can hang out and you can tell that story. It's not a long story.
What time?
Want to
is that
hang
gonna
out,
be?
Asia? From Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Yeah, she really is in Costa Rica.
So.
All right. So we'll do it. We'll do tech breakdown right now. I'm going to come back on tech breakdown, and we're going to talk vibrations.
All right. Can I smash that bumper?
Yeah. Why do you always ask? Go ahead.
All right. We're doing it.
Alrighty. So it's going to be short and sweet. Okay. So this really could be a really useful research tool. You can buy 2 of these for under $30 or about $30. Right?
Wow.
If you notice, each one has a remote control. You can
Slick.
arm it, unarm it, change the tone, pick from 7 volumes of alarm level volumes. You can obviously arm and disarm it, and you can set it for 3 different sensitivities.
Okay, nice.
Okay, so what can you do with these things? Now you've got 2 of these alarms, right? You got them in your arsenal. You can just set them on the ground around your tent. That's it. Just arm them, put them on the ground, arm them from inside your tent. It does use radio signal to arm and disarm, so you don't have to be in line of sight. They can be 50 feet away. You can put them out in the woods. Anything walks near these things, they will sound a warning alarm. They won't go off yet, but if they pick up a second one within, half a minute, then the alarm will go off. But you will hear the warning alarm too. I mean, if you can't hear the warning, it's quite loud. You'll hear the warning, and then, of course, you can then either grab your favorite weapon of choice, which is usually something stupid, like what would be a stupid weapon, a hairpin, whatever you feel you're gonna defend off a Bigfoot with, or some big creature stomping around your camp. But it allows you to let you know something's going on, right?
Right.
You could take this and you could put it inside a cooler. You could tape it to the outside of the cooler with some duct tape. That's all you need to do, and arm it. Something messes with the cooler, you're going to know. Tape it to your truck. Tape it to the outside of the RV or near the RV, on the ground.
Yeah, if you're out Bigfooting and you put on the outside of your beer cooler and your buddy tries to go for it,
you could do that. Yeah, you could just prank your friends.
It's not going to go
There's
well.
a lot you can do with these. You really are. And the reason they're so cheap is because they're bike alarms. Simple as that.
So they're really affordable, it sounds like.
Yeah, they're mass produced, super affordable. They're waterproof. They do actually have 7 levels of adjustability for sensitivity. You're going to always want to put them on the most sensitive, right? They are IP55, which means they're waterproof to a point, right?
Right.
You could waterproof it really easy by just wrapping a little cellophane around it.
Yeah.
Stretching. The loudness is up to 113 decibels, so pretty ear piercing. So you can set up perimeter alarms around your camp. You could also use it for an alarm to scare an intruder. You could put it on the backside of your cabin door, tape it up there, or hang it or Velcro it on, and then arm it when you leave. So when someone tries to break into your cabin, a warning alarm is going to go off. They touch the door. If they do it again, it's going to go off. They're not necessarily going to know that it's just it's just one of these. Might scare off an intruder. They might think you have you're being monitored by some big alarm monitoring company. It could protect you against bears if you're scared of wildlife, like bears. Could scare bears off.
Now, do you think there's any concern of it like making a Bigfoot super angry?
Yes, because we have no idea how they're going to react. For instance, we would have had one of these on the porch.
Right.
It would have went off. But then maybe we wouldn't have had any more activity, which is why I'm the vibrational alarm. Some people sleep really deep and they need this. Personally, I don't. I sleep so lightly. I mean, I'm going to be woke up by the slightest noise. When I'm up at Snell, man, anything happens, I'm up. Now you take somebody like maybe Adam, who sleeps deeper than I do, or Joe, Uncle Joe, who, a nuclear bomb wouldn't wake Uncle Joe up. Literally, you could have a nuclear bomb go off and he wouldn't wake up. Sleep through anything. Cabin's been attacked, like rocks and everything, and Joe, no, he doesn't wake up. Okay. But so something like this might help somebody like Joe wake up.
That would be, yeah.
God knows what happens when we sleep in our tents in these, when we do these little Bigfoot expeditions. We don't know. But there's a lot of things you can do. That's it. So, Alex, so just look up bike alarms or vibration alarms on Amazon. And they're available on eBay and other places. Pick one, but you can buy one. You can buy a 2-pack for $30. They do work really good. And I believe the big unit runs on a 9-volt battery, and the control, I've never ever run out of battery on the little remote ever, but I have used up the batteries on the actual siren part. Right, that's the alarm.
Right.
All right, that's enough. We're done with that.
We going into our clips.
Yeah, let's do clips. Do we want to bring? I could introduce our guests. We could bring our guests in, or we can skip the clips. What do you guys want to do? You guys want to skip the clips? Maybe we skip them. We're running along tonight.
We could bring them in. We got a full crew here.
Yeah, bring everybody in, and I'll introduce them. Go ahead and we'll bring everybody in, then I'll introduce everybody. And okay, so raise your hand, Brendan.
Hello.
Brendan is in Yuma, and he's podcasting from his car.
Yes, I am.
And I
He's
recently
a car caster.
He's a car caster. I love it. Nothing wrong with that. It's a great soundproof, beautiful place to do a podcast, actually. Brendan owns a cabin in the deep woods of Minnesota, which I hope to visit at some point.
Yeah.
Brendan and Jeff are friends, and Jeff introduced me to Brendan. And then we have Adam Colt. Adam is a LMS 2 tech. Adam is going up with me to Snellgrove. And I was the alarm that woke Adam up. And then Adam, after I woke him up and he was listening, once he got really into it, he stayed awake and I fell asleep when all hell broke loose. Isn't that true?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyhow. And then we have Jeff Perrella. And Jeff is another tech that's working on LMS. He recently created the Bigfoot baby that we are bringing up to Snell. It's also remote control and does all sorts of really cool things. So say hi, Jeff. Jeff, you can say
everyone.
hi.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
We
Hey.
hear you. We see you. You
Okay.
look great.
Yeah. So anyhow, but we're gonna talk about Bigfoot, and then Asia's gonna join us a little later, and she's gonna tell us her story. And I don't think Jeff or Brendan have any witness stories, but they have a lot of
Correct.
opinions, and that's why we brought them here, is to get their
Also correct.
opinions on things. Yeah. So-
Technically, I haven't seen one yet either. I'm
No,
really
you
excited
haven't.
to see one. Yeah.
We've had them near us, so haven't we?
Yeah.
Like
A lot of weird
two-
stuff I can't explain, but I still haven't seen one yet.
Yeah. So so let me start it off with Brendan.
Okay.
What do you think these things are, Brendan?
I'm of the opinion that we're looking at an animal.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of Dr. Meldrum, Dr. Bindernagel, those types of people, John Green and so forth, is, all the old timers that we all kind of learn the subject from. And I'm interested in what other people have to say and their experiences. I'm willing to listen. I've certainly learned that from watching you, Doug. You always patiently listen to everybody's story and respect them, and just take that in and file it away and see what happens when it comes from that. But
Well, how did you get interested in the topic? And then why did you buy a cabin up in northern Minnesota?
Well, my interest goes way back. I've thought about it. When did I first get interested in this? And it's got to be as a child, but I'm not exactly sure what cued that off. I'm probably one of the few people that did not see Legend of Boggy Creek as a young person, and we didn't have cable TV, so I never saw like In Search Of or anything like that. I may have picked it up just going through books in the school library. I was always, when I had a chance, would just like to go to the library and look through books and stuff like cryptozoology, UFOs and stuff was always interesting as a kid, of course. So I think that's what got me interested in it. And it's just held my interest all these years. And I think mostly but from the witness reports is what makes me interested, because why do these ordinary people come up with these rather fantastic stories?
Yeah.
If they're not actually seeing something.
Right.
And sure, some of them are probably mistaken or whatever, but some of them are just too good, too long, too detailed to be a mistake. So that's where I'm at with it.
Do you I don't know who's beeping. Who's beeping?
I think it's my vehicle. I don't know what it's doing or why.
Why don't you start the car?
Well, it is started because it's 108 degrees outside, so I got the AC on. So it just decided to start beeping now, of course.
That's interesting. Why would a car beep?
Is it overheating?
Jeff, why would a car
No,
beep?
it's not. But
Got me on that one. That's weird.
I'll turn it off. Turn
Turn it off and put it back on.
Yeah.
Not only is Brendan podcasting from his car, he has his seatbelt on.
Yeah,
Just in case.
I probably could turn it off. Good point.
Justin, oh my God. You can't make this stuff up, people.
Right.
You can't make this up.
Okay, let's try that. Maybe that'll stop the beeping.
There. Maybe they were telling you, hey, your seatbelt's on and you're not driving. Maybe that's what it was. It was the reverse seatbelt beeper.
But your other question was, why do I have a cabin in the woods of northern Minnesota?
Yes.
And I'm originally from Minnesota. I was born and raised in Hibbing, Minnesota. I lived in Keewatin for a long time. Lived in the Twin Cities for a short amount of time. Now I live in Yuma, Arizona. Been here since 2009. And I always just enjoyed the woods, hunting, getting up with my friends like Jeff up to other friends' cabins. And it's like, I want that again. And I was just looking through. I found a piece of property, was able to get it. And now we're in the process of, I got a shed up there now, put a driveway in, and we're just getting it ready to have fun in.
Well, if you invite me up there, I can make it the scary place for you.
I know you told me that. I don't know if I want that.
Exactly. You better think long and hard before
We'll
you
get you up
invite
there.
me up there.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you're gone, I'm going to wood knock.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be up there in a couple of weeks. So if you could make it in a couple of weeks, that'd be great. And also be back in October. So
sure.
I'll see you at the Bigfoot conference. I did see you last year there.
Yeah.
And,
we didn't even meet, but you were up there. I think I spoke up there.
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you think of the Patterson-Gimlin footage when you first saw it, Brendan?
Well, of course, it's kind of startling when you first see it. It makes you want to see it again and again. And, I've followed the story over the years of the research into it. I also buy books, not just about Bigfoot, but books that, try to explain Bigfoot away, or negative books. I'm trying to think of the word for it, but, like Boo's book and who is the anthropologist, The Making of Bigfoot. I read his book too, just to see what they're saying. But, it's people like Dr. Meldrum and Bindernagel and so forth that have studied that other ancillary evidence, like tracks, of course, and hair, and the eyewitness reports. That doesn't make you a believer, like Meldrum says. It convinces you there's something to this, because how else are these tracks being left in these odd places? Sure, some of them are faked, but some of them they've got to be real.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, Jeff, let's get on Jeff. How in the world, Jeff, did you get? I know you're really interested in the topic, and I think you were watching the podcast as one of the ways we met.
Well, I've always had just a broad interest in science, nature, wildlife, space, science. I mean, everything. And as a kid, like everyone, you see the Patterson film, and it's so compelling and interesting. And over the years, we got better views of it, and then they got it stabilized. I remember seeing it image stabilized for the first time, and now more recently, the AI cleanup of it is really cool. And just what got me beyond a broad interest and more of a specific interest is the Legend Meets Science movie. And Brendan actually brought the DVD over to my place. I don't know.
You're talking about my
years
show.
ago it was.
That was my show.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
20 years ago.
LMS, Legend Meets Science, seeing that, watching that, and I became a big fan of Dr. Meldrum. I think he is just brilliant. I read his book. I'm looking forward to the next book. Just reading more stuff, learning more stuff. But my opinions are real similar to Brendan's as far as it's just a fascinating mystery. And what makes, I have a broad interest in all cryptids, but what makes Bigfoot unique is that we don't really have to invent some mythical creature. We've had animals like Bigfoot, documented. We know that from the fossil record. Animals that are close to that, and not that long ago on a geological time scale. So it's just highly plausible. And the more you see, the more we learn. Gosh, it's really hard to explain away the mountains and mountains and mountains of evidence.
Yeah.
It's just so much. The more I learn, the more I read. It just all kind of, the balance of probability tells me that there's something there.
Yeah.
And I personally am not a fan of the supernatural explanations. I don't think we need that to explain anything. This can be sufficiently explained by a biological creature. There's nothing that can't be satisfactorily answered by biology, in my opinion.
So you're an aper.
I hate that.
Well, hunted. Yeah.
I know. It's such a funny.
You're an
I think they're much closer to humans genetically. Yeah, very close, very close to humans. I think that's why the DNA evidence has been so difficult, because if you just have a fragment of DNA, well, it's going to match human DNA, so they conclude that it's contamination. And I mean, when it's only 1% different.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you tell?
It's hard. Yeah, exactly. You need to have a body, a sample to compare against. We just don't have that yet.
Well,
but the DNA evidence is fascinating and compelling.
Yeah, with us being a part of the NC State study, we're hoping to get a full genome, and we're hoping when we get good genomes that we're going to figure out exactly what's the lineage here and what is this junk DNA that we're just keep ignoring. We just keep ignoring all this junk DNA. What are these things? Right. It'll be interesting. And Adam, what do you think these things are?
Well, like I tell most people, I want to believe that they're flesh and blood, that they're an animal, because that lets us, basically track them and capture them.
Yeah.
But I'm getting more and more open to the other side, and I've been invited up to go gearless, no tech, to northern Minnesota. So I'm probably going to do that later this fall. That'll be fun. So just see if I can see one, and I won't have any recording or proof of it. Maybe I'll get a personal sighting. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the theory that people keep throwing out, and I'm not gonna say that it's right or wrong at this point, because it could just be coincidence.
What's funny is that you talk about the films. I saw Giganto, and I never saw Legend Meets Science, and Giganto got me super excited about the concept.
That was the pilot for Monster Quest.
Yeah. And then,
it's called Giganto, the Real King Kong. So you saw that on TV.
Yeah.
And that got you interested.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the original Patterson footage was what I saw first.
Yeah.
And that what threw me over the edge. The whole, I just think like a guy kind of thing. And I'm just like, if there's two guys out in the woods looking for a monster, they're not going to be looking for a female monster. And the fact that it was female just solidified it for me. Absolutely. So.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing. So one of the things we're gonna do here is we're gonna strategize about Snellgrove, because there's no free lunch. When you bring technology, you take the chance at scaring these things away. And so it's not only the timing when you deploy technology, it's what you deploy, where you deploy it. For instance, Adam and his son have come up with this amazing four-sided, true 900 nanometer IR light, which is PIR. So that way, if you do light up the forest with IR light, it isn't emanating, the light's not emanating from the camera, so you're not going to blow out the face of the Bigfoot or whatever. It's great, but let's say we put these out. And I want everybody to weigh in on this.
Yeah.
We put these out either on the forest floor up in trees, night one. Maybe they see that they don't come around. And we don't do it. We don't see them. Or maybe we don't deploy them at all. Or maybe we deploy them day 2 or day 3 or the last day. Or, where they've already kind of been used to us. So let's go around and each one state what you would do with this four-sided, passive infrared activated. So it's not putting out any infrared until it's activated, which is amazing. Four-sided. I mean, it's going to light up the forest like day for an IR camera, right? So Jeff, well, let's start. We'll start with Jeff first and get his opinion. What's your strategy? We've got how many days up there? 5, 6 days up there? Something like that? 6 days?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
At least 6 days, yeah.
6 days.
Maybe 7 days, 6 nights even. So.
We don't know. Yeah, or we just leave after night one. Jeff, what do you think we should do with these things? And we have not talked about this prior to this conversation.
No, it's my first time seeing. It's a tough situation. I mean, you want to deploy everything so you don't miss anything, but there's also a value of not deploying it the first night. I think the big challenge is, I think there's a pretty likelihood that these creatures, the spectrum of their vision is different than ours, most likely. They have eye shine, which other apes don't, which is interesting. So they probably see better than us at night. I actually think that most cameras use an IR beam to focus with. I would suspect that they can see that IR beam easily, and it's an unnatural light, and it makes sense that it would scare them or startle them, or but to answer your question directly, I think there's probably a value in having one night, maybe the first night, not deploying everything.
Yeah.
Just to see what happens.
What's interesting is maybe what to do is to have the I think they can spot a camera or a camera lens, but maybe disguising this thing, this light he's invented, and just trying to disguise it in a way on the second night and have the cameras completely hidden might be our best. And how we're going to disguise it, I don't have any idea. I mean, that's tough. It's pretty big. Adam wants to hang it up in a tree. What say you, Adam?
Yeah, well, obviously I designed it so it wouldn't be sending out any radio waves, any Wi-Fi, or any IR. It's a passive sensor, so it only receives what's in the environment, which is how it triggers. The cool thing about it is we can adjust the sensitivity. So we can adjust it really high so that only large creatures trigger it. So we won't get any false triggers from any deer or raccoons or something like that. So we can test that out too. If we hang it from the top here, we have plenty of room to put branches and stuff over it to disguise it. That might work. But we were thinking, I talked to Chris earlier. By the way, Chris and Bud both say hi. They're looking forward to Snell Grove as well.
Oh, yep.
And I was talking to Chris, and he was like, what if we take these IR lights and go across the lake and actually set up some cameras and some IR lights and do maybe some peanut butter bait and see if we can get any activity on the other side.
Yeah, like away from the cabin.
Yeah.
Away from the cabin.
Yeah.
Actually, if the water is higher, we could get into Hidden Lake.
That's awesome.
And I know they're over there. I know they are because it's, we've had activity over there.
Yeah.
It would be cool to do it away from the cabin.
Exactly. And then if we have a lot of activity at the cabin, then maybe bring them in for the third night or whatever, and maybe get some really good footage.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, Brendan, you better start your car. If it's 108 degrees in here.
I restarted it. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
We want you comfy. We do not want to see a man die on the podcast from heat. But I like it that you have your seatbelt unbuckled because you're going to be okay. Yeah, you'll be fine. Okay. What do you think, Brendan? So hold that thing up. I don't think Brendan's seen this.
Oh yeah, I think you had it on. You had it on a show or two ago.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you did get it.
I did see that. I would think. It seems like Bigfoot are hyper aware of what's in their environment, and they pick up on man-made items. I've heard it said if you want to keep Bigfoot, if you're having a problem with Bigfoot and you want to keep them away from your house, just put some cameras up, and they won't come by it. So maybe you'd have to go into an area with a group of people and make like a drive, and make sure you push them out so they're not observing you while you put them out, while you put the lights out.
Good idea.
That you walk out into the woods, kind of push them back, and have someone stay behind and put it up. And then again, yeah, you're going to have to camouflage it well.
Yeah.
Steve asked, when is LMS going to come out? Well, we're waiting for results, lab results. And that's kind of the holdup at this point. So that was one reason we did a private Kickstarter campaign to raise money for it, because if we rush the results, then we're not going to have any results. So we've been filming on a regular basis. We're obviously going to film up at Snell. I just got done filming a whole thing on the Bigfoot baby being built and how it was built, and that was done with Jeff. And so we're filming on a regular basis, and there'll be more. And we've got another trip out west we have to do, and one more trip out east. And we have the skin sebum person to film here soon. So it won't be too long, Steve. So it won't be too long. It'll come. And I feel bad it's taking so long, but on the same token, if this thing's going to be actually have some historic value, I don't want to rush it. So it's just a matter of patience. Okay. So I liked your idea. Drive them away so they can't see us deploy these. Yeah. Where do you think? Do you think we should deploy them on the ground, aiming up, or do you think they should go up in a tree?
Probably on the ground has the least chance of being seen. Okay. And maybe you can, just put some logs or something around it. Of course, that doesn't illuminate the area as well if it's on the ground. But, if you can get them close enough, you can light up their bodies potentially. So...
Do you think the ground would work, Adam?
Yeah, I think it'll work. We might get more false triggers from smaller animals just literally being over the top of it. So,
which is bad in a way if they can see IR. But this is 900 nanometer IR. It's less visible. Yeah,
we can't see it, but like the speculation is they can. So once this thing goes off, it's like a grenade. They're going to see it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a one and done kind of deal. Yeah. And we're hoping that, the whole point is to have cameras set up. So when that light grenade goes off, that the cameras are ready for this.
Alex, do you want to put Adam
everything else in the area is just dark. So
there we go.
There you go. Thanks, Alec. Yeah. So the concept is basically once they step into range, the cameras are already rolling. They're already ready. They can't see anything yet because all IR is out. There's no light in the area. And all of a sudden, bam, it's all lit up. And if they can see it, they'll look up at the sky and they'll see it. And that'll be a scientific proof, basically, that they can see the light. If they don't look up, and because we've gotten plenty of deer on it, and they don't look up. The light goes off and they just ignore it.
Yeah.
But I also have seen the deer literally go up to the cameras and investigate the cameras when the IR lights are on. So it's interesting. I know they don't see the IR lights, but maybe they're smelling something or sensing another part of it. So, we're humans. We're going to have scent. There's all sorts of problems with trying to outsmart something as smart as this. We've got a lot of things to overcome.
So Todd, he's in the chat, Bigfoot New York Todd. Todd's been working with us too, and he was getting handprints on RV windows on a pretty regular basis. They were coming up messing with his RV. And I told him, I said, put a thin layer of Lexan, clear Lexan over the window so you can't tell there's anything there, right? To try to outsmart them. Mm-hmm. It worked.
Really?
They left a handprint on the polycarbonate. So now we just take the polycarbonate, send it into the lab.
Nice.
And we're going to even map it. We've been told we can do this, map the actual handprint in 3D for legitimate signs with some really new microscopes that go as deep as electron microscopes, but use light. So it's light microscopy that can go as almost to a molecular level. And that's going to be used for LMS. Wow. So, we're excited. We're going to get Todd back on and talk about this and show some of the work he's done. So anyhow, thank you, Todd.
Yeah,
okay.
Thanks, Todd. Kudos to Todd.
Yeah. No, definitely. He's been working his butt off, and that's what it takes. Remember, I keep telling you, Adam, it's a multi-step process. And that's how you're going to get the best evidence. And that's what Todd is doing. You know, it's difficult for him to do what he's doing. But it's working. You know, it's working. And so we've got to be that clever up at Snell. As you know, it's a huge journey up there. I mean, just the drive alone is going to, it's going to be 12, 13 hours in the car. More than that. Is it? It's almost more than that, isn't it?
It depends on how many stops we make.
Yeah, we didn't make
yeah,
many
it's,
last time.
it's a good 10, 12 hours, sure.
12 hours of just driving. And then we got to stay overnight. Then we have to get up early in the morning and fly out and then get dropped off. And that has to be done in 2 trips. Yeah. So the people have to wait while one group's getting flown in, and they got to come back and get the second group and the gear. And so it's kind of a problem. It's not like you just snap your fingers. It's a 2-day journey just to get there. 3 days for Chris. It's 3 days.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about Snellgrove, though, is there's no hoaxers up there.
No,
like there's nobody around.
No,
to mess with us or our results. So.
Well, one of the things I found most interesting, and Adam, you actually did the interview, you and Chris, was with the lodge owner, the actual outfitter, admitted to you on camera and told you a story. Do you want to relay that story to the world?
Yeah, sure. So the owner, had engine trouble. He came down hard and
kind of a crash landing, right?
Yeah, crash landed. And he hurt his head. So he said he grabbed some moss and he was this guy's amazing. He's so I just grabbed some moss and, I'm bleeding profusely, but I'm just walking through the woods. So he grabbed his GPS out of the airplane and his sat phone, and he knew where he was going to hike to another lake so that someone could safely land and make a rescue attempt. And along the way, he was being paralleled by something, and he's assuming that it was a Bigfoot because he thought it was a bear at first, and it didn't come out and attack him. It literally paralleled him the entire walk through miles of forest to get to the second lake. And as he was going through it, it was shaking the trees and hitting things with sticks and all sorts of activity and that bears just don't do. And so by the time he got to the other side, he said he never saw it, but it followed him the whole way and taunted him, so it's an interesting story. Did you want me to tell the one about the footprints or not?
Well, that seemed to be a really odd thing for an outfitter to come forward like that.
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't aired yet, right? We just kind of broke the news here, but it's going to be in Legend Meets Science too. The fact that he just admitted that, it's a huge deal. I'm sorry. It's a huge deal to get a bush pilot to admit
These guys
such
see everything. They know everything. They're out there every day. And he said it was unlike anything he had seen before. And he said he was nervous.
The other thing is he told a story about another cabin north of Snellgrove about what? 50... It was just a trapper cabin the natives used, 50 air miles away, something like that.
Yeah, pretty close by, but yeah.
Do you remember that story about that cabin?
Yeah,
tell it.
Well, it was the Native American land, right? And it was a trapper cabin that had been there for many years, and the Native Americans up there went and used it as a place to hang out. And they said they don't go there anymore because it's been attacked so many times. And I'm just like, I want to know exactly where this cabin is. I want to make an expedition up there. So, but yeah, I mean, if you've got, indigenous people saying like, we don't go there anymore, it is too dangerous. It has been attacked too many times. Then that's legit.
That's nuts, isn't it? When it's that close to Snellgrove, just north of there.
Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere, and I don't even know if it'd be. I know you want to find it somehow, and maybe we can. But we're going to have to talk to the outfitter more about that cabin.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what shape it's been in, and if no one's been there in 10 years.
Years of disrepair. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be kind of scary to get dropped off there. Right. But very likely it's the same creatures. Wouldn't you think, Jeff and Brendan? it's the same creatures that attacked that other cabin if it's only 50 air miles away?
Yeah, that seems like a good possibility. That, I've seen some of the studies and information from North American Wood Ape Conservancy with their Tag 7 project. And I think they had something like a 60, 75 square mile range that they're estimating based on the tag data that they got. So, yeah, I think that's probably very reasonable distance that they travel.
And Jeff, do you think it's the same creatures? Jeff? Oh, you're muted, Jeff. You're muted.
We're
Technical
can't hear
issues,
you,
maybe.
Jeff.
Can't hear you. Your mic is unplugged.
He'll work on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, that's
when I rewatched LMS before I went up to Snellgrove, specifically for that cabin scene. And what was interesting about LMS is you talked about having another sighting while you were up there, and that you went investigated that wasn't too far away. So the fact that there's so many sightings in that area, I definitely think it could be the same, family of creatures. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because they seem to be aggressive enough not to come in the cabin while we're there, although there's quite a bit of evidence they've come in that cabin. And that's where it gets unsettling, where they destroyed so much of the interior of the cabin and the shed. I mean, they flipped over a 1,200-pound gas tank.
Wow.
Bent pipes. I mean, there was a lot of damage that was pretty non-human. And then there was no bear claws. So people would go, oh, it was a bear. No way it was a bear. You cannot pull shelves down from a wall without leaving bite marks or claw marks from a bear. It's not happening. Jeff, are you back working? Jeff?
Hey, Jeff, you want to jump out and
just
maybe
jump out and
back
just
in?
jump back in? It should fix everything. Something happened.
Why do you think they get so aggressive, Dad?
I don't know. I'll just never forget that first time I flicked that light on that was above my head. It was a battery-powered light. Cabin was kind of dark, and then I flicked that light on, and I'm sure they got one hell of a look at me because they were right outside the cabin watching me. It scared the living tar out of them because they went nuts. I mean, they instantly started screaming, and it almost seemed like they were upset with each other, which was the weird part of it.
Oh, really?
I felt like
with each other.
I heard something leap up on the roof right away, instantly, and I felt maybe that an infant had leaped up on the roof, and they were yelling at the infant to get down. It's kind of what it seemed like to me.
So do you think the infants are drawing them in with their curiosity?
I don't know. I mean, maybe an infant they were all out there, but when I flicked that light on, I think it scared the young one, which instantly leaped up on the roof because I could hear it running on the roof. I heard running on the roof. And that's when I looked up and saw a skylight open. And of course, I'm thinking, oh crap, whatever's up there is coming in through the roof.
Right.
And so my first reaction was to grab that long pole. Did you see the pole for the skylight, Adam?
Yeah.
Okay. So I grabbed that very pole and I tried to crank, and I couldn't get it working, and finally got a crank shot. That was my only priority at that moment.
Yeah.
And then the cabin started rocking, and the screaming, and then rocks and brush or sticks started getting tossed up on the roof. And they were actually rocking, lifting the cabin from the corners.
Wow.
And lifting the whole cabin and moving it. And you experienced that because I was asleep.
Yeah.
And you said they were like lifting from the underneath the cabin while I was sleeping.
Yeah. That was weird.
That.
The floorboards were rippling a little bit. So yeah. I mean, the first impact the first night was just amazing. I mean, Chris heard it all the way across the other side of the cabin, but that's what startled the heck out of me. And it's interesting that you brought up the juvenile on the roof, because remember that weird interaction I had with the noises in the back of the cabin, I honestly thought it was a mother and a juvenile, and the mother was basically telling the juvenile, "Stop making noise. He hears you now."
Yeah.
You know,
That
And
was
that
kind
was-
of, yeah, you kind of get a sense of the interaction of how it kind of went down.
yeah.
Not sure
I mean,
you're
it-
right, but you get a sense of it, you know?
It's kind of like, well, even in like the Sierra sounds during the argument, you can tell it's like there's a male and a female there, you know, they're yelling. And then, like, you know, I think it was Keith who jumped on earlier and said that he believes they're beings, they're people. And I think they, you know, I think they have a language. They walk on 2 feet. They have opposable thumbs. You know, they're almost like us. You know, why
Yeah.
wouldn't they have a language?
Jeff, are you back or not back?
I hope so. I'm
Yeah,
having
there you
There you are. You're back.
I'm having internet issues. It's my internet provider.
Okay, so the question was that I asked you, do you think that 50 air miles away, do you think those could be the same creatures? Because apparently they attacked that cabin, that hunting or trapping cabin, so much they abandoned it. The natives did.
Yeah, you've discussed on a previous show the probability that they're following things like the berry harvest. You know, berries being in season at different times of the year. I can't imagine they would have a hard time getting 50 miles away. They don't. It's pretty clear they don't stay in the same place. They're
right, and that would actually. Well, the berries ripening would bring them there then.
Correct. I agree. That's pretty clear in my opinion. Yeah.
So the berries wouldn't be ripe there up until like towards the end of August,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where they would end up.
Yeah.
And that's where we got so lucky last year, because I really do think they follow the berries ripening. They go north, you know, they start south, and they stay in beautiful prime blueberries that whole time.
That makes a ton of sense. I agree.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. All right.
And you also made an interesting comment, Doug, about how all the people at the cabins leave their extra food behind.
Yes.
So maybe there's an extra
Including us.
incentive there to just.
How many pounds of food did you guys leave when you guys?
Way too many. At least 20 pounds of food.
Yeah.
So.
And you put it way back.
Way back in the woods, yeah.
Yep. And so that could be one reason that they would be interested in.
Yeah, we threw out apples and potatoes and pork chops. I mean, there was a whole variety of food we had to get rid of the last day. So
yeah. Do you guys feel that you would have your own? Say you were in charge of the Snow Grove trip, and so we're talking to you, Jeff, and Brendan. What would you do? What would you bring? What would you do? You found out you're going to Snell. You haven't done a damn thing. You know about Snell. I know you do, Brendan. You've seen those shows.
Yeah.
What would you do? What would be your strategy?
Gosh. Well, I think I would deploy a lot of sound gathering devices, microphones and stuff, things that are more passive, that are smaller and can be hidden pretty well. I actually have a sound system going up at my property in Minnesota. I got a few sounds. If we have time, we could play a few things.
Yeah, Brendan, I have them.
Yeah, I have to duck out for a meeting here in about 7 minutes, but that's always a good thing. Another thing people say is just act natural. If you can. How do you act natural with 1,000-pound apes running around? But just do ordinary things. I've noticed when I've been out deer hunting, it seems like I see more game when I'm distracted and doing something else other than staring at the woods. It's like you put out some kind of vibe. People say they felt like they're being stared at. Well, I think the animals might feel that too. So just try to act natural and go about your normal business while being aware of what's around you. I'm an ultrasound technologist. That's my profession. And one radiologist taught me, he said, you see what you know and you don't see what you don't know. And I think, there's probably a lot of people that experience Sasquatch phenomena that don't even realize what's going on because they don't know what they're listening to or looking at. and you know, us being in this area of interest, we can be aware of that. You know, be situationally aware of what's going on around you at all times.
That, I mean, I think that's some really, really, really well said advice.
Yeah.
Act natural. So we got to be fishermen. And that's what I've
Yeah.
told people. If you want these things to come around, they're used to fishermen that go up there, have no interest in Bigfoot.
Or like children playing, you know, they're just doing their natural activity. They're not watching the woods. You know,
Right.
the parents are watching the woods,
Yeah.
hopefully. And that's what I think draws in the interest of the Sasquatch is, oh, what are these people doing? They don't know I'm here.
So if we're doing things, we want to be fishermen. We want to really carry our poles a lot and fish
Right.
off the dock and, you know, leave with
Yeah.
our boats. And
maybe act like you're browsing, like you're picking berries, like you're, you know, looking for roots and things like that.
Yeah.
Natural activity.
That's really good advice. So have you heard things up at your cabin?
Well, in 2002, and actually it was 2001. Jeff was with me up at a friend's cabin, and I was deer hunting one morning, and I heard wood knocks, and it was unmistakable. Jeff didn't; he was back at the cabin, but it was an extremely calm day. It was unusually warm for that time of the year. I knew there was one other person that lived full time on that part of that lake. There's Crane Lake, which is a border lake. And I had that's the first time I had ever seen anybody while I was deer hunting. And I talked to him, and he said, yeah, I get up in the morning and I take my boat across, and then I get in my car and drive to work. So I heard him get in his boat, go across and leave. And all of a sudden, you know, I'm just sitting there waiting, looking, and I hear that percussive sound that Dave Ellis has taught us. We don't know if it's wood on wood because I didn't see wood hitting wood, but it was that percussive sound of wood on wood. And it was very loud and of a rather deep tone, not quite like a bat hitting a ball, but a deeper tone. And it was knock, knock, knock. So I was really able to zone in on the area. In fact, I got my rifle ready. I thought, gee, something big is coming in.
Jeez.
But I never saw it. Never saw any movement. And it's like, now this isn't a pileated woodpecker. This isn't some jack pine cones falling from the tree and hitting the ground. This was a really big noise. And you know, I thought at the time, wow, you know, or at least a little bit later, could that have been Sasquatch? When I got back to work, one of my coworkers who hunts 16 miles south of me, I measured it after, he said, you know, I heard something and I don't think I even told him the knock story yet. I just, you know, asked him, how was your hunt? And he was like, he looked at me and paused and he was like, I heard something weird. I was like, what? He said, well, it was, you know, before daylight, he's walking to his deer stand. He has to stop to relieve himself. He sets his rifle down and he hears what is the classic whoops. And it took me years to find a good recording to listen for him to hear. He says, that's what I heard. And it's that classic whoop sound.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, he said, the only way I can describe it is it's like if you go to the primate area at the zoo and you hear the monkeys howling.
Yeah.
And he said that went on for several minutes. He said, I've never heard it before. I've never heard it since. And he's a guy with thousands of hours in the forest. I mean, he's still currently a trapper. He's retired and he traps. He hunts, he ducks hunts, he fishes. He knows the woods of northern Minnesota. He says, I've never heard anything like that before.
Do we have recordings of something, Alex?
Well, I guess the most interesting, since I've got to go here pretty quickly, is if you can play the WTF sounds. Now, I don't think these are Bigfoot, but I don't know what they are. They're such big noises.
Go ahead, Alex. Play it again.
Is that a wood knock?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that maybe a thunder knock? I don't know what that is.
Well, this is in mid-October. It's past dark. I think it's early evening, like 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the evening. So it's beyond any time that you would have a bird hunter walking around. I got plenty of people, shooting their shotguns off in the distance. That's easy to identify. There are some power lines running nearby there, but why would the power line make a noise like that?
Yeah,
I thought, is this a tree falling, cracking and falling? But why would I get, these are in 2 successive nights. One's like the 10th and one's the 11th.
And that makes a difference.
When you listen to other sounds, like there's a train in the distance, and you can tell that's in the distance. This is pretty close.
Yeah.
I've got some good microphones. I spent like $100 by, I think it was Charles Kimbrough sells microphones. So I invested some money in some equipment, and it's just like, wow. Could that be a power knock?
Could be. And David Ellis said it sounds like a tree pushover.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds like a tree too. Okay. When I was camping last summer, I heard something very similar to that, but it was extremely close. I think it's them breaking the trees. They're tearing it down. It's not falling naturally. It's being literally torn apart.
I found a lightning map of the U.S. and I checked that as well to see if there was any lightning strikes. But again, this is like early mid-October. It's relatively cool. There was no weather in the area that evening. It's just these. That's why I call them the WTF sounds. It's like, what the heck is this? Because there's no other sounds I recorded that are powerful like that.
Yeah,
they're pretty powerful.
And, it's just so strange. The other one, if you want to play.
So, I was going to just say one thing before we go on switch topics.
Yeah.
Weird that sound. There was a time I put a bait box out with a small monofilament line going to a trap to see if they would take it. Well, there was a sound just like you recorded that happened by, outside the cabin that scared everybody into the cabin.
Oh.
And then they tested the bait. So it was like they scared everybody in and then went for the bait, pulled it, set the trap off, and they never came back and they never touched it again.
Yeah, if I could get David Ellis's email address, maybe through Jeff or something.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
I could send him those files if he wants to monkey around on his system and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure he'd love to.
Unfortunately, I've time for my business, my work meeting. It's the only meeting I've had in 2 years, a mandatory meeting. And it's got to be today.
That's the way it goes. Well, thanks. We'll have to have you back,
I'd love to.
And definitely want to get up to your cabin, and we really appreciate it.
Sure.
Thanks so much.
I've got some other recordings and some pictures I'd love to show you guys too.
Oh, cool. All right.
Some track photos and stuff.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
That was interesting. So have you heard anything up at his cabin, Jeff?
I've heard, I think, not at his cabin, but we have a good friend whose cabin is nearby on the other side of Orr, Crane Lake. I think I've heard wood knocks that, I'm pretty familiar with the common noises, the normal noises. I've heard wood knocks that just sound different. So I don't know. That's probably the closest thing I've had to a direct experience myself. But kind of backing up a little bit, like he said, we're so used to perceiving the world in the way that we do. Other creatures perceive the world in a very different way. I mean, perfect example. Think about how different you perceive the world if your eyes are on the side of your head, like non-predatory animals. We have binocular vision. Whales don't. Whales are really smart. They have eyes on the side of their head. They perceive the world a different way. They have senses we don't. So who the heck knows what they can sense, what they can see. And also, like he said, when you're not looking for something, you're not going to see it. A perfect example is if you've ever seen a fawn, a baby white-tailed deer in the woods, if you're not looking for them, you can literally step on one before you see it. So animals that are with, all that they're just good at doing what they do. They're better at it than us. They're good at being in the woods. They're good at hiding. They're good at seeing things. That's their world. Imagine if your entire world was the woods, you would learn it a lot better than you do now. It's interesting stuff.
No, I agree. And I would imagine there's a million homeowners out there that live in the woods that have had their house attacked that just thought, they just blew it off.
Oh, assume it's a bear or
whatever.
Yeah.
Assume it's just the house settling, right?
Yeah.
And they've had their house slapped or whatnot. Have you ever tried anything when you were up at Brendan's?
No.
Nothing.
He hasn't had it very long. I've only been up there 3 times. We're still kind of in the process of getting the cabin established. So we've mainly been up there just to work, just to get
it's off the
built.
Grid. Completely off the grid.
Oh, 100% off the grid. There's no power, no water, no sewer, nothing. It's completely off the grid.
And I know it's in a good area because that's the exact area I had my first experience in.
Yeah.
Up near there.
We'll definitely get you up there. We just got to get the cabin more established, but we'll definitely have you up there. It's a great place.
Yeah.
Adam, we'll get Adam.
We're going to get Adam with me.
Absolutely. Whoever else. It's a great area. It's a beautiful country.
We got to get up there maybe this year.
Hopefully, yeah.
So, okay. So what other technology are we bringing up, Adam? What's our checklist? I'm bringing up the Bigfoot baby, which has got...
I can't wait to see Bigfoot baby.
Yeah.
I've seen some pictures of it and some little video clips, but I can't wait to experience the whole Bigfoot baby. Congratulations on building that, Jeff. That's freaking awesome.
It was a fun little project. I think it's going to be... It's never been done before. Yep. If there's an animal near that, I don't see how it doesn't provoke a reaction. Exactly. It might be a violent reaction. Who knows? It might infuriate them. Who knows?
Oh, we don't know.
But it's never been done before. It's something completely new.
Well, I can tell you one story. We were filming Monster Quest. We were doing a reenactment, and it was Rick Knoll and oh God, I can't think of his name now. Okay, a friend of Rick's. And they wanted to they were filming, a reenactment scene. They had a Bigfoot suit with them. So they took the suit off, laid it down so it looked like there was a dead Bigfoot laying next to him. And rocks started being hurled over the top of the trees and landing directly right between the Bigfoot suit and them. Right? And they started filming. Wow. And once again, they were angered by this dead Bigfoot. It angered them. But they didn't hit anybody. Nobody got hurt. But it was many rocks that got thrown over the top of the forest, as I remember. So.
All right. Well, some of the other gear we're going to be bringing up is the monoculars, thermal monoculars. We're going to be bringing up a lot of audio recorders, obviously.
Yep.
I'm going to bring up the camera rig that I've got. We're still contemplating bringing up the Starlink, so that might be exciting. If it works, we don't even know if we can get a place in the cabin to get that mounted properly.
Yeah.
And then let's see, what else have I got? Well, we'll bring up the new ambushes. That'll be fun. We'll try those.
Little tiny drone.
So some other things.
And a bunch of wise cameras.
A parabolic dish.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up some extra microphones and some audio recorders, the more expensive microphones, just to see if it makes a difference or not. So.
Nixon mentioned the baby gorilla critter cam that did work really well with gorillas. It really did. I mean, they didn't attack the robot, but they kind of accepted it.
You know what? That reminds me, one of the best reactions we got when we did the experiment up north in Minnesota is when we had the roadkill cam. Remember the roadkill cam?
Yep.
That worked out great. They literally picked that thing up and tossed it. So, I mean, I found a rabbit, like a dead looking rabbit, stuffed rabbit thing. I hollowed it out and put a camera and a battery inside of it. And they were like curious about that. Lots of the porcupine, the coyotes, all the animals were curious about
anything
that.
with fur on it. And I've
Yeah.
experienced the same thing with microphones with a dead cat.
Yeah.
As my son has, they'll grab them and move them, or they'll toss pebbles at them.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out, is this alive or is this dead?
And remember the squirrel cam that I made? That got attacked by the hawk and an owl.
Yeah.
We got those on camera too. So
yeah, that was crazy.
Okay, we're gonna make some furry cams quick, I guess.
Furry cams.
That sounds so wrong.
The other thing too, Adam, this thing, and we need to talk about this probably tomorrow, of what audio we want to bring up there that we can load it. We need an MP3 with a USB cord, right, Jeff?
Yep. It's just a micro USB, I believe, but it works just like a hard drive. You just swap in a different MP3 file. It's super easy.
So we can. Right now, there's a kind of an annoying baby crying.
Yeah, a baby human crying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
baby human.
Does I have only seen pictures of it. Jeff, tell me a little bit more about the baby you built.
It well, the mouth moves, the lips move, the head will knock, the arms will come up. It's
eyes open and close.
Yeah, the eyes open and close. We put a camera in the belly button, so there's a camera right in it, and it's all controlled remotely. So you can turn it off and on. You can make it move. You can turn the sound off and on remotely. Yeah, it's pretty. We did it cheap. Really, nice. I mean, I don't think we have maybe $100 into that thing. It's really cheap. Wow. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fun. It's a fun project. I enjoy doing that stuff. So
cool. Is it wireless or wired?
Wireless. Yeah.
Okay. It's all battery powered.
Yep. Okay. And we have to the procedure is like it's a number of batteries and a number of switches, but I should have it down.
Yeah.
But we have to think about the sound because we could do all sorts of really enticing sounds. I think the baby crying might be a bit annoying. It's like the annoying baby cry.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not the little helpless baby. It's
more like a wailing, like a baby wailing. It might be a better term.
Yeah. So I'm not nuts about that. Alex, you go ahead. You must have some things you want to talk about.
Well, what do you think, guys? You gonna get them this time?
Well, we definitely had activity last time. Hopefully, we'll have the cameras in the right spots this time.
Yeah, we have a full moon this time.
Yeah,
which will help. We won't, because we did go no IR lights. That was the rule, and we had them standing on our cameras, but the moon was gone. There was thick. Not only even the starlight was blocked by clouds. So there was no natural light, nothing.
So what are you more excited about, Adam? The baby Bigfoot or the ambushes? The ambush 4s you're bringing?
They're both pretty exciting technology. I'm pretty excited about both, actually. So
it just feels like you guys are really leveling up your game this time.
I mean, Doug gets us all thinking outside the box. He's like, you got to think differently. Exactly. You got to try something new, so
a lot of new tech.
Yep. So.
Yep. Well, it's gonna be. What time is that? 8:43. Do you want to keep going, or do you guys want to wrap it up? What do you want to do?
I'm fine going on. Keep going.
Good. Adam, you're okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the things that you experienced up there, because we maybe do it in a quicker way. But you also experienced them either using their hand on the outside of the cabin. I did not hear this. I wish I would have. Slapping the joists of the roof from the outside, either with their hand going bump up me. Well, you explain it. Go ahead and explain.
Well, okay, so the back of the cabin has the left and the right side, and one of the sides is up on stilts to make it obviously level. And that's the side that we were on. And I was in the bottom bunk, Joe was in the upper bunk, and what I heard right near Joe's head was a smack on the side of the metal cabin, and then a running of, like I said, either fingers or stick or something down the raft, down the joists that were supporting the roof line. And it was thump, 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 you know, because you could hear each one of the evenly spaced rafters. And it was just to get up that high on that side of the cabin, you have to reach 12 to 14 feet. And it's like, you just know that it's not a small animal. It's got to be something big to reach that high. And it was a pretty powerful impact. It shook the cabin when they.
That's why you said something took a stick and did it. And then it hit you. I'll never forget the look on your face when it hit you, thinking, oh crap, maybe they're just that tall.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I took a stick the next day to try to recreate the sound that I was doing. I was close, but I think it was a hand because it was a less sharp sound. It was more muted, like skin on wood rather than wood on wood. So yeah, it was an interesting sound. That's for sure. I'll never forget it.
And then there was obviously the last day. Why don't you go through that? There's probably people have not heard what happened the last day, because me and Joe, we flew out one day early.
Yeah.
You guys stayed back, and then it was your time to leave, and what happened?
Yeah, you guys had to leave for a conference early that week. So, Chris and Bud should actually be telling the story, but the two of them were up on the boardwalk, which leads down to the lake. And I think I was rolling luggage down or doing something. So I ended up going down further down the walk down towards the lake. But we were all having a good time, and we were just getting ready to pack up and leave. And, you know, Chris has an amazing, angry, aggressive Bigfoot sound. He makes a growl thing. I don't know how he does it, but it's really great. And he never likes to do it because it's angry. It's a big growl. So I taunted him enough, and I got him to do it. And then Bud was there, and I'm like, you know, Bud's got his thing going on, and we're like, Bud, go make a sound, make a noise. And instead of being serious, Bud goes, yo-leh-hoo, right? And not more than 5 seconds after he finished his yo-leh-hoo, the thunder knock hit, and it was so close and so powerful. And those guys actually felt the impact on their chest. And I guess what they looked at each other and said, did you feel that? Normally we look at each other and say, did you hear that? And they said, did you feel that? And I heard it. I was down at the other side. I didn't have quite as big an impact as they did, because I was at least 30 to 50 feet away from them. And then I was listening because it was such an amazing impact. I listened and across the lake, I heard an echo, a response, and it wasn't an echo. It was definitely a response. And it was amazing that a response was able to come that quickly. So I would say like maybe 10 to 30 seconds after the initial impact. So it was crazy. And we're just like, oh, great. Cameras aren't rolling. Audio equipment's all packed up. We're ready we're waiting for the pilot to come. And now we get one of the best wood knocks we've ever heard.
Okay. But all right, let's just come up with a scenario here. And there's more that happened. We're going to talk about that. But it seemed like the thunder knock was caused by a big male, because it was so loud, right?
Yeah, it was powerful.
Who do you think would be the receiver of the food that you guys put out in the woods? Wouldn't it be a greedy male that says, you guys go away? In other words, he wanted all that food.
Yeah.
And the family was gone, right? They were on the other side of the lake. You said you heard that. No, I'm just coming out with, just a scenario.
I think your scenario that you had mentioned when we were talking about it might be the right scenario. It's like the alpha male's there near us, close to us, waiting for us to leave. He hits the tree and rings the dinner bell for everyone to come after we leave. So,
or he was just trying to scare you off.
Or scare us off to make us leave faster.
And it wasn't the dinner bell, because think about it. I mean, animals can be greedy. It maybe wanted, maybe it'll save the family some stuff, but it gets first dibs on by, making everybody else gone.
It was just, and the last thing you're thinking about is why are they here? Why are they doing this? It's like, oh my gosh, did you hear that? Did you feel that? What do we do next? It's that's the instant reaction you have. And it would be nice to be able to calm down and think, oh, let's do a wood knock. Let's answer it back. Let's see if we get some replies. But literally 5 minutes later, the pilot was landing, and actually, I got to take there's another part of the story. The pilot was bringing up new supplies for the next group. So she was bringing up gas and propane, and she picked up the propane tank on the porch and set it back down again because it was relatively full, and it made a big thunk. But we heard a wood knock at the same time off in the distance, and we all looked at each other like, should we tell her? Because she didn't hear it because she put the barrel down. We're like, do we tell her there's a wood knock right there? And we just heard the thunder knock 5 minutes ago, and there's stuff happening right now. And we're like, well, we're getting on the plane. So let's
Alex, put Minnesota Bigfoot Research Team's comment up. Silverback males will eat and steal food from the females. So that was my scenario that I came up with, thinking that it was the only one there was the big male. Waiting, because it's going to be a pattern. They're going to learn, month after month, this pattern of putting all this cool food out, sweets and all this perishable food. And you would think that somebody's going to get greedy. It's like, you guys wait over there. I'll, make sure these guys, I'm protecting you.
Yeah.
And so maybe that just was intimidation. And then something else happened.
Certainly intimidated us, that's for sure.
And then something else happened with pine cones.
That was early in the morning. That was, the whole day was getting a little crazy. But yeah, we hadn't even started packing yet. And we got up, and Bud comes wandering in from the outhouse, and he goes, guys, you need to get up. There's things happening outside. He goes, I just had a bunch of pine cones thrown at me. And I'm like, really? And I had a cup of coffee in my hand, and I wander out back, and he goes into the bedroom to wake Chris up. And I said, guys, you're right. Get back out here. Bring the camera. It's still happening. And they were violently shaking one of the pine trees near the outhouse. And then they tossed pine cones over the outhouse onto the boardwalk. Wow. And we were just, the three of us, it didn't seem very threatening because they were just small little pine cones, and they weren't throwing them at us.
They were the green hard ones?
Green hard ones. Yeah, they're like stones. They're actually really hard. And basically, we were standing there, three of us drinking our coffee going, how long is this show going to go on for? And I think Chris got his GoPro out, or Bud got his GoPro. Bud had his GoPro out, and we just filmed it, and we were just talking about it.
Yep, and that footage will be in LMS too also.
Yeah, it was cool. So
yeah, and people have to understand, we might go up, nothing will happen because we're 5 days late on the berries because they ripened early, or we don't know. But I do know is when we've gone up in August and there hasn't been berries, there's been no activity. None. Zero.
Well, we also found out last time that they don't like the generator. We had no activity when the generator was running all night.
Yeah.
And they don't like what was the other thing I was going to say? I lost it. So
I don't know.
Have you ever played music up there? Had music playing?
I have.
I did at my campsite, and that was an interesting result too. Yeah.
What do you feel is so interesting about it? Like, what do you take away from it, Adam?
Well, I wasn't the one to even find it. We had some other people come up. I got a shout out to Quint, but Quint was up there, and he was like, look over here, look at all this grass. And I'm like, what? And he's like, it's all matted down. Like somebody was sitting over here. And I'm like, that's really funny, because last night I was basically playing music all night, giving them a free concert. And it turns out they might have been sitting there listening to it behind all my camp setup where I couldn't see them, So it was an interesting thing. I think they do possibly enjoy that.
Something worth repeating too is I have not been to Snell Grove, but I've been to the same resort that you fly out of up there. When you get up in the sky there, the bush is endless. I mean, it is endless. There is no way I've seen it myself. There is no way there is human activity anywhere near you. It's impossible. Not a chance. There's no power lines. There's no rivers. There's no trails.
There's no cell service.
No, there's endless bush. Endless. You get up in the sky and you see little dots of lakes in a vast ocean of green. It's nothing like it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you're flying for like almost an hour. You're flying over, and you're like, how far out are we going?
It's endless.
And it was the funniest thing about that. That was my first time in a float plane, and every 10 minutes I was trying to look for a trail or a road. So it's saying like, okay, if we crash, I have to walk that direction to find a trail. If we crash, I got to go that way. I'm like, I have to constantly keep updating my mental map of how to get out of here, because I'm just like, there's no way. No one's going to come to save me. You got to walk out on your own. So.
I don't think you could make it. I really don't. I don't think you could make it. I think it would kill you.
I can go about 2 months without eating, so I'm good.
Yeah. No, I think you'd want to just stay put.
Yeah.
You'd be there forever. You would never.
Well, I mean, if you crash, they would never know where you. Well, I suppose they might look for if there's a transponder, maybe they'd look.
Yeah,
for that.
if all that works, and that's always crossed my mind. That stuff is. If you think too much about it, you can get quite scared.
Oh yeah.
Like we go down because we had a really bad weather when we flew out last time. It was not good. I could tell you. That was one of the scariest flights of my life. Was leaving Snell. And I've been in emergency landings trying to fly out of there. This was worse.
Wow.
We had zero visibility. The wind was blowing really strong. The plane was going all over. We were scraping trees. I mean, it was scary.
Yeah. That was the other thing I was going to say. They don't like the generator and they don't like the rain. So,
yeah.
They didn't like coming out in the rain.
No, the rain.
Or bugging us in the rain anyway.
And, we did talk about this as something people, maybe you can chime in and even the comments in the chat. Full moon, how will that affect their activity? Are they more likely to not come around because they can't operate under that total darkness? Or are they more likely to come around when there's a moon? I don't know. So that's something never talked about. I never hear anybody talking about that. So, Jeff, what do you think?
Well, again, I have a lot of experience with white-tailed deer, and they're not nocturnal, but when there's a full moon, they bed down during the day and they're active at night. A lot of animals are like that. A lot of non-nocturnal animals will bed down during full moon. That's very common. It screws up hunting quite a bit. If you don't ever want to go hunting during the full moon because the animal's just more active at night. They're just going to bed down and hide during the day.
Gotcha.
Very common.
When I was camping last summer, there was one blood moon, and it was really full and red, and it was scary being out in the middle of the swamp with a blood moon. And I just and I did have more activity that night too.
But you had me on the phone.
Did have you on the phone. You were my protective angel. So
I was watching all these cameras going, no, it's okay. It's okay. And Adam could sleep. I'd stay up all night and just look at cameras because I didn't want to miss something. I had the record button ready to go. Yeah. Because the cameras have a little card in them, but that's to me BS. I wanted to hit that record button myself.
Yeah.
But those were some long nights for Dougie.
Yeah, for me too.
And you. Yeah. No, I know.
Oh, and the best, Doug, is like, go do a wood knock. I'm like, it's midnight, Doug. I'm alone in the woods, and you're asking me to leave my tent and go do a wood knock?
Yeah. I talk you into it, though. You would do it.
You would do it.
I would do it.
No,
so I got my headlamp on, and I'm like, okay, check the area.
I'd be watching all the cameras. I could see. For him, it was pitch black, but I could see in the dark.
Yeah. One of the scariest things that I had happen up there was I was laying in the hammock, just completely peaceful, just swinging and looking at the sky and watching the pine trees blow in the wind. And all of a sudden I heard a low growl. It sounded like it was less than 10 feet away from me. And I'm just like, whoa, time to go. Yeah. So I got out of the hammock as fast as I could and went back into the tent,
So Eric Sorensen says, he said, he doesn't think they'd probably care whether there's a full moon or not. So he could be right. I don't know.
Yeah,
so Jeff, what do you think about Bigfoot though? Do you think you would think up there they don't have to hide around. There's nobody out there. It's the bush that their behavior is going to be different than
unless they're predatory.
City Bigfoots.
Unless they're predatory, they're going to be active when the prey is active. The prey is active at night. They're going to be active at night.
Well, then maybe they're not going to come around because they're hunting. You see, they're busy.
It could be. Who knows?
This This is what drives me nuts. There's so many factors.
Yeah.
And
I have
you
a
don't
question.
know. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys actually sleep at night when you're up there? I don't know how I could.
I don't much.
I can't imagine you
I
would.
stay up quite late. Let's put it that way. Maybe I'll.
Well, you're a
fall asleep by
night owl, anyways.
4.
What do you do? What do you do during the day when you're up there?
Fish.
Fish.
Oh,
yeah.
fishing. You do,
Well,
you
for
do actually
us,
some
so we
fishing
were
then?
reviewing cards.
Yeah,
camera
in the
cards,
morning
and-
over breakfast, we were pulling all the SD cards out of the cameras the night before and
Sure.
listening for crazy. We were hearing crazy noises, and it was there's some crazy stuff we captured in audio. So,
But it was weird. I actually did fall asleep when I knew you were awake.
yep,
And
that
I
probably
was
because you
like-
knew you were safe. I was on guard. You
You
put
were
me
on
on
guard,
patrol.
and then I fell asleep.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
if everybody's sleeping in the cabin, I am not going to sleep. There is no way I'm going to wake up to a 10-foot tall Bigfoot looking over, standing over me.
Yeah, I
Hey.
can't imagine I'd be able to sleep at
Oh,
night.
it's
Doug.
scary. Yeah.
You should bring those alarms up with you and put them on the door. They might work better than the butter knives.
Yeah, the vibration alarms would be a good idea.
That's what I'm saying. Bring
Yeah.
those up as
Yeah,
technology.
I will. No, I'll plan on it.
That'll let us sleep a little better. At least we'll know that.
Well,
when
that's
they-
what the butter knives. They won't keep a creature out, but they'll let you know if they force the door open and break
Yeah, they'll
it.
fall. Yep.
They're gonna fall. They're gonna cause some sharp noises.
Yeah.
People are like, "Well, what do you put butter knives in the door?" Well, it's an alarm.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
They're not gonna stop a 800-pound creature from coming in that door. Holy crap! And they can turn doorknobs.
Yeah.
We know that.
Yeah. Well, the most amazing thing that you told me about that incident in the cabin was the fact that they sat there and tore up all those playing cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course,
50
they could open
different
doors.
decks of playing
Yeah.
cards. They tore them into little pieces.
Yeah.
And
being
go ahead.
a non-camper and a Snellgrove fisherman, Snellgrove kind of guy, when I saw that, I'm like, why the heck was there playing cards up there? What's the deal with the games and the cards? And you don't realize it, but everyone brings up toilet paper and paper towels and games and towels and blankets and pillows, and they leave it for the next group. So there's always these giant piles of cards there's just like 50 decks of cards up there. And this thing sat there and tore up all the cards.
Yeah. In little pieces.
Yep.
Well, it could be
That's
something
not
inside
human
the card.
behavior. What?
It could be some material in the card. Playing cards are coded. They've got different. I mean, it's not just paper. Maybe they're after something. Maybe they're after something else that's in the material.
Well, they weren't chewed. They were just torn. I think it's to the autistic behavior they show.
Yeah,
at times.
that makes sense.
Once they started, they didn't quit.
Yep.
The only thing that was not disturbed was the poster of animals. It was still held on by one little staple.
Yeah.
That did not get torn up. Did not
maybe
get
it's
wrapped.
maybe it's like popping bubble wrap. Maybe they like the sound of the tearing.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of an autistic, behavior.
It's a sensory thing. Yeah. I mean, maybe something like bring some bubble wrap up there. See what that does.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, there you go.
This bubble wrap.
Yeah, keep in mind, everybody, we can only bring so much. We get weighed. Our gear gets weighed.
Well, bubble wrap weighs nothing, but lace them in front of the window. Lace them in front of the window on the ground.
This is not a beach plane. These are Cessnas. They're not very big, man. They're tiny.
I've been in them. Yeah.
It's tiny. Yeah, it was interesting because Jeff used to go. What's the name of the outfitter again?
Clark's Resort.
Clark's. Yeah. Jeff used to go to Clark's.
Yep, been there.
Adam.
Awesome place.
Yeah.
So
he said that earlier. Yeah, he's been there.
He's met the outfitter.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time.
His name was Wayne. Did you meet Wayne?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But
and why did you go to Clark's? What was
fishing,
the reason?
Flying fishing.
So they would fly you out to where? What lakes?
Just a random lake. I don't remember the name of the lake. We didn't go to a lake with a cabin on it. We stayed at the resort, and they flew us into a lake. The only thing on the entire lake was a little boat to fish out of. I mean, there's nothing on the lake. No cabin, no nothing. Just a bare boat, and we'd fish for the day, and they'd come pick us up. We were the only people on the lake.
Wow.
So that's pretty. That in itself is pretty wild.
I've done that before.
Yeah, you're the only person on the whole lake. And if the plane doesn't, if the plane doesn't pick you up, you're not leaving. There's nowhere to go.
And you have no supplies. You have nothing with you.
None. No. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you need a lot of trust. You got to trust that pilot's going to find you and come
Or you'd
back.
be eating a lot of sushi that night.
Yeah.
Well, just think about it. Even if it's just something temporary happened to their equipment,
Sure.
you would not only would you not know they're not coming back, you have no tent, no sleeping bags, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And I've done that a few times.
Yeah, it's different.
Well, that's Bud is going to take his tent and his sleeping bag out into an island. He wants to sleep alone.
He says
on one
that.
of the islands. Yeah.
Jeff, would you camp alone would you go out in a tent at Snow Grove somewhere?
No, I wouldn't. I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm
He's
not
honest.
comfortable doing that. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not comfortable doing that in Minnesota, being in a tent in the middle of
Adam,
the
would you?
Jeff, just until you disappear.
Yeah.
I might go with Bud, but because
No. Alone. Would you do it
No,
alone?
I would not. No way.
I don't think so.
You
I
won't
don't
be
think so.
alone. There'll be a Bigfoot right behind you.
No.
Yeah. No, it's
And
pretty.
I'd be armed, and I still wouldn't go. I mean, there's no way I would do that alone. That's just no.
People don't understand how dark and how quiet and how there's no light pollution, there's no sound pollution. It's just, I mean, it's amazing, but it's also kind of creepy at the same time because we're just not used to that.
Yeah, most people haven't experienced zero light pollution. That's a game changer. I mean, zero light pollution. The average person doesn't experience that. So a full moon, you can see really well with the full moon if you have no light pollution. And a new moon, it is black. I mean, black. That's the only time in nature you're going to see black. When there's no moon, you can see, I mean, well, if it's clear sky, you're going to have starlight. But
you only see the stars when you look up. I mean, you can't even see your hand in front of your face.
It was so dark last year, you could not see anything.
We brought up a low light Sony, camera, and we couldn't see anything with the camera. But the minute we shined the tiniest flashlight, the whole scene lit up. It was
like
a little bit of light.
500,000 ISO speed on that camera, and we paid a lot of money to rent it. Couldn't even use it. We didn't even have a star that whole trip.
Nothing.
So, but this year, Jeff, it's going to be opposite.
Yeah, full moon. Yeah, that's
We'll have moon every night, and if it's not cloudy, we could have very different conditions.
Yeah.
Jeff, you got your passport? You coming up with us?
Not this time, no. Hopefully, I want to get up there though. I'd love to get up there. That'd be great.
Kind
of waiting for it.
Alex, would you even go up there? Would you go, Alex?
No.
We actually have room for you. We have room for
you. No, missing 411 has put that to bed for me.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Alex would not go.
I think my wife lets me go because she's got good life insurance on me.
Yeah.
In fact, stay up for a whole month, Adam.
Yeah.
Cover yourself in bacon.
So what's the deal with the Starlink thing? You're talking about the one that you already have?
Yeah, it's
what does that Starlink system weigh?
It's not too heavy. It's just a small router, and I think the dish weighs maybe 10 pounds. So it's not too bad.
How many pounds can we each bring up there? I think it's only 50.
It's 100 per person, but
that includes food.
That includes our food and our pillows
and water and
the sleeping bags and all. And no, the water doesn't count. They give us a case of water each.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, Clark's is great. So I'm going to shout out to Clark's. So anyone who gets a chance to go up there, those guys are amazing. So
yeah,
love them.
It's a beautiful place up there. Just beautiful, spectacular.
Oh, untouched. To get there, what a journey! We saw tons of moose, and then I believe that Chris and Bud saw a tree violently shaking.
Yeah.
We drove by, and then as we passed, the tree was violently shaking. He said it was like tipped to the ground.
Yeah, crazy.
30-foot tree. Now,
Yeah,
picture
and then-
the strength it would take to do that.
Well, we know
'Cause
the
you're
strength. 'cause we
driving
tried
right
to
through
recreate
Bigfoot
it.
country. Pardon?
We know the strength because we tried to recreate it.
Yeah, we couldn't even move that tree.
Couldn't
an
even move the
inch.
tree.
Not even 1 inch. And it was literally, Jeff, going all the way to the ground and back to the other direction.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's like,
What
what
can-
does
I
it
mean, what can
take
do
to
that?
Yeah.
David
exactly.
Ellis mentioned earlier that they that sound that he recorded might have been a tree pull, where they're literally pulling the tree down to the ground or pushing it down. And maybe that's what they were trying to do. And we were witnessing the tree trying to be pushed over.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up.
Sounds great.
I didn't get to the clips. I do apologize. I love doing the clips, but we didn't do them. Just can you save them for next week, Alex, so I don't have to re-find
sure.
cool clips again?
Sure.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow. But thanks so much, Adam.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff, for all your hard work and coming on tonight. And,
Happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, it was fun. And thank you to Brendan for his car casting. That was awesome. I love it.
The first guy to podcast with a seatbelt. There you go.
Yeah.
Kudos to Brendan.
Yeah, he did set a new record, Jeff.
Yeah.
He is the first seatbelted podcaster.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I love coming on. Alex cracks me up every time. So.
So, and then I want to thank everybody in chat too. It was great, and we appreciate all your comments.
Thanks, everyone.
I don't know. With that, I want to leave you with a little bit of wisdom, and that is just remember, everyone, wise people always prefer questions over answers. So there you go. With that, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and